Here's one that many people don't get, so I'll have to explain it, but when we respond to God to guide us through our superior mode, we don't make mistakes. When we listen to our inferior mode, we often fail. See, there are all kinds of ways to make decisions and choices, and we all have to find what works best for us. For instance, I'm what I call an intuitive. I could stand there and listen to you or somebody else, and you can give me 10 reasons, or I can give you 15 reasons why I should do it. But that's what I call my inferior mode, that logical, analytical approach. My mode is when I hear something, it's my gut response. And that's how God speaks to me the most. For instance, God called me to go to Africa as a missionary. The call was very clear. The call was just as clear to come home after 6 years. So maybe better talk about the coming home, because that's easier. I was really in a very good place. I had learned my second African language, and most missionaries usually just learned one, but I'd learned two. I was getting quite facile with the language. Things were going well. I mean, everything was just, in so many ways, so good. And if somebody started to challenge my sense of it was time to return to the States, they could give me all the reasons why I should. In fact, some people did. One woman said to me, "Oh, but you've worked so hard. The Africans love you, and you can communicate with them, and they respect you. Look at all the things you've done." And she went on and on. And she was right in everything she said. But I knew deep inside, it was that intuitive response that says, no, it's time to go home. I just had this sense that I needed to go back to school. I knew as much as any other missionaries, it wasn't that. But I felt I needed more. And I've always been a reader, very studious, but I needed to be in an environment where I could be guided in my study. The tendency is I would study things that I was interested in and neglect the things I didn't want to know. And I needed somebody to say, okay, now you're going to study this whether you want to study it or not. And I needed that. I was aware of it. But it was from the gut level or intuitive level. So my point is that when I make my decisions from that inner sense, I know it's right. Now, by contrast, I remember one time I was struggling with my career, and I sat down and wrote all the things I could do to really get on top financially. And I worked at this for probably 2 hours. And I had this nice long list, and the next day I started to put it into effect, and I stopped and I said, you know what? It makes sense, but it's not right for me. That's what I mean.